I think we are live. So,
Hello, everybody.
hello everyone. This is Blender Cloud Live. Another week. Last week we went through the features of the Blender Cloud and all the. It was the birthday of the Blender Cloud. Actually, it was on Friday.
Yeah.
Still no cake. Today, still no cake. But still, we went through all the amazing things that the cloud has to offer and all the what happened in these 4 years. But we missed a few parts, so we wanted to keep it for like a whole episode, which is the services that the Blender Cloud has to offer. It's more than just tutorials and the regular stuff you find online, like courses or blend files and all of that. But it's also a big part of the Blender Cloud is the services, I think, which
definitely.
is something that no other website offers, which is pretty neat, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and like we were chatting, and like 99.99% of the cloud services were coded by Sibren.
Yeah.
So for the one or two people that doesn't know you,
My name is Sibren. Hello, everybody. I'm developer here at the Blender Institute / Animation Studio, and I just celebrated my 2nd anniversary here. So
wow, second anniversary.
And that was 2 weeks before the Blender Cloud birthday. So actually now more than half of the lifetime of the cloud I've been here.
Officially, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
You also joined quite later to the cloud. The very first version was launched by Francesco himself. Mainly, there was a designer that helped with the very, very first version that it was launched for the campaign of the
Gooseberry.
Cosmos, Gooseberry project back then. So, but I think most of the cool part of the the cloud happened in the last 2 years. We were going through the list of things that were added in the last episode of the Blender Cloud Live, and there is a moment where you see like, okay, this day Sibren joined, and then immediately there was like new features, project sharing, image sharing, the cloud add-on, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was also a very cool way to start working here, because I came in and I got all this piled on my lap, and Francesco and you were like, we have all these great ideas, but we just don't have the time to implement it.
Yeah.
So I could really get a running start and curse at all the code that I didn't know, which always happens when you start at a new company. And just take it from there. So that was really nice.
Or even make something completely from scratch, which is the Blender Cloud add-on, which we didn't have. And we wanted to have, we had many dreams. One of them was being able to save your settings on the cloud, your Blender settings on the cloud. Save them somewhere, right? Because here we have many computers, and sometimes you move in between computers and you want to be able to bring your stuff with it. Bring your theme or bring your
shortcuts, your hotkeys, your add-on configuration, everything.
Yeah, everything. So that's how the Blender add-on came to be, and big part of it is the Blender Sync, which is available for everyone. So this part is actually not only for Blender Cloud subscribers, but this is a gift from the Blender Animation Studio to the world. So what is it? It's what is the Blender Sync?
Blender Sync is simply, if you've ever looked at your Blender configuration files, then you know that it's saved for every version of Blender. So that when you upgrade to a new version, so you go from 278 to 279, you have to click that little copy button, and then it copies everything over.
Yeah, it's in the splash screen, right? Copy previous button.
It's very easy to find and very hard to miss.
Yeah.
But it does something similar. For every Blender version that you have, you can sync with the cloud. You can just say, okay, upload my settings to the cloud for this version of Blender. And then when you're somewhere else, or maybe on the same computer, you can say, okay, find me the versions that you have, and now load the configuration for that particular version. So you don't even have to have the same version of Blender. You can save with 277 and then load with 279.
Yeah.
So it's quite useful.
You can go back in time if you have an older version, right? You can go and load your settings from 277 or 276.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because Blender versions Blender changes, of course, between versions. So settings that are useful for one are maybe not that useful for another. Maybe you change some hotkeys because new features were added, and this way you can keep track of things a little bit better.
Yeah, especially with 2.8 coming, that is useful for some things, but 279 is more stable for other things, or it's important to have that separate. And all of that is linked to your Blender ID, right? Your Blender.
Yep.
Yes. Awesome. So we're gonna test it live. Yes, we're gonna go through the risk of sharing things that may break or not, but where do we get the Blender sync?
Well, we go to cloud.blender.org.
cloud.blender.org/services.
Yes,
or you can click on the top and you go to services. Here's where we list most of the because always something we're missing. Most of the features and the services that Blender Cloud provides. And the star here is the Blender Cloud add-on. But there are other stuff like private projects and all of that is not really linked to the Cloud add-on itself. Some parts of the add-on work with it, but not completely linked. But here there is a big green button where you can download the latest version, 1.8.0. And I believe I have that installed. Let's risk it. Let's go here. Yes, wow, what a coincidence. It was already opened. Yes, so you should download it. It's a zip file, so you can drop it in Blender in the user pref settings or install, and you can just install it. By default, it will be not logged in, so it's gonna ask you to log in. For logging in, what do we use?
We use Blender ID, of course.
Blender ID, and what is that? It's an other add-on. I think at the beginning they were together, right? Like when at the very beginning both were together, but at some point they split. The Blender ID add-on.
It's bundled with Blender.
Yes.
As we said, it's completely free, and that's also the only way we could bundle it with Blender because it is free.
Yeah.
So what it does is it allows you to authenticate with Blender ID so that other add-ons know who you are.
Yeah.
And they can do things on your behalf. So they can access your Blender Cloud profile, they can send files, download files, etc. on your behalf. That's it.
Yeah, and that's great because then it means that Blender ID becomes this authentication system that it's no longer attached to the cloud or whatever Blender thing, but you could use, other add-ons could use it, like if you have, whatever, like any add-on could log in and get your name and your email and your stuff from there. And also, when we say free, we mean free as in you don't need a subscription, but free as in freedom. Everything is free in the sense of open source. Everything that we make here, Blender ID, Blender Cloud, Blender Track, Flamenco, everything is open source. And it's available on developer.blender.org. It might be a bit hard to install because, it's like if you install your own Cloud or a Track, Flamenco, you need to know a bit of...
it consists of many parts and they all have to link together.
Yeah.
And it's not that trivial to set up. But that's what you pay 10 euros a month for, so that you don't have to.
So we go through the pain, and but yeah, it's maybe more complex than installing, say, WordPress. but yeah. So we have the Blender ID authentication. I just logged in. It just asks you for your email and your password, and that's it.
Yeah.
Validate. And then, ta-da, it shows up in your Blender Cloud. Yeah, there's my email. Then there are a few settings here. There are a few options that you can say, especially for the textures part, which we're going to show in a bit. But since we're showing Blender Sync, let's see what is it. So there are a few options here that say Blender Sync with Blender Cloud.
Yeah, bug.
What?
Well, it says Blender Cloud.
Blender Cloud. Oh, yeah, no, it's because it's... Yeah, it could be a whole...
Anyway. Yeah, it should be.
It's anyway. Blender UI. Let's blame the UI.
Yeah, let's blame perfect UI.
So what do I see here? They say save settings and find version to load.
Yeah, and this may look a little bit strange. This find a version to load, but it is for a very good reason, because we don't want to have any network communication without you knowing it. So Blender, the Blender Cloud add-on will not connect to Blender Cloud in the background to check which version to load, you have to take an action for it to do that.
Yeah.
So we really value your privacy, and that's why sometimes you have to click an extra button that you may not be used to, but that is simply because of this.
But at least you know that the Blender Cloud add-on doesn't connect to the internet unless you click on it and you tell it to.
Yeah.
So, and in this case, of course, the Blender ID also connects to the internet when you say login, because you tell it to, because that's where you that's where your ID is. And the same for the cloud, and the same for Blender Sync. So once you press find version to load, it will do some magic there, and it will let you choose. If I already have the settings saved like I did here, it will say load the settings, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, you can also click on this little guy there, and then you can choose which version. I have 3 versions saved here. So I'm not going to do it right now. So I think I've been pushing these limits of testing live, but it works. Actually, where can I see my stuff? When I say, let's say my settings now here. It's saving, it's uploading. Settings push to the cloud.
Yeah, there you go.
They're on the cloud. Where is it? So I can find this on my Blender
Home
cloud.
project.
Home project. So
yes.
you go home. You go home.
You go home.
And then in home, by default, it shows the Blender Sync settings that you have saved. For example, I have 2.77 saved July 1st, 2016. Like a few months later, well, actually many months later, the Blender 278, and I just saved 16 seconds ago Blender 279. So that's how we keep history, and maybe if I can show it, there you go, 279. Awesome, and that's it. Now my settings are saved online.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Ciao.
And this saves both your user preferences and your startup file.
Startup file, okay, yeah.
It's a complete thing. It doesn't save every setting because it was tailored for syncing between different computers. So when you have a really powerful video card in your desktop, you may not have one in your laptop, for example.
Okay.
So it won't save which card is used for cycles rendering, for example.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of stuff you want to do locally. Also,
makes sense.
Location of temporary files, and there are maybe 1 or 2 more
the
settings.
path, yeah, the path makes sense. So where do you save your temp file, for example? Or like you mentioned, if you have I don't know, a CUDA card on your desktop and an AMD card on your laptop, is going to be fine because it's not gonna be
exactly
saving those settings, which makes sense. Yes, you put a lot of thinking into this.
Yeah, it was a bit tricky because we have to load the user preferences, but before that have to remember the settings we don't want to override, and then load the saved settings, and then reconstruct the things we didn't want to save, and then save again, and then it's done. So it's a bit tricky, but it works.
It works. It's worth it. So that way we can save our settings on the cloud. So that's it for Blender Sync, I think. I think. There is a blog post, you can read more there, but yeah, this is free for everyone, so there is really no excuse to not use it. Everything is stored on the cloud. You can log in with in your cloud. Even if you don't have a subscription, it's gonna say you don't have a subscription, but then this will still work, your home settings.
Yeah.
So let's see more stuff. If you have any questions, you can add Blender Cloud in the chat, and it will show in orange, so then we can spot it easily when we answer the questions more towards the end. Let's first focus on showing some of the cool features. What is another cool feature? What is your favorite feature from the Blender Cloud?
Oh, my favorite feature is the texture browser.
Oh, texture browsing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is actually what I started working on, I think even before the Blender Sync.
Yeah.
And I had to find a shortcut for it, like a hotkey, because everything has to have a hotkey.
Yes.
And
Blender, right?
Yeah. So I didn't want to remember. So it's just Control, Shift, Alt, and A. It's
okay.
all 3 modifiers.
Yeah.
Just easy.
Just hold, like, smash your face on the keyboard and then A. Yes.
Yeah.
What a easy way to remember. So let's try it.
Yeah.
So I happen to have Blender here, the Blender Cloud add-on.
Really?
And okay, I will just start now. I have a new file, and I know it's going to fail for reasons. So I want it to fail. So Control Shift A, and then boom, you need to save your blend file first.
Yes.
Why is that?
This is for a very good reason, because it will save those textures that you download from the cloud into a directory that's relative to the blend file that you're editing at the moment, so that it keeps everything inside the same project structure that you may have set up.
Yeah.
And because of that, it needs to know where your blend file is. And if you've never saved it, there is no particular location for it.
Exactly, you don't know. So let's see, what do I have here? I have called Quest.
Oh, look at that.
It's a quick advertisement. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, why Blender starts running the compositor. Okay, there you go. Anyway, so I have my blend file. This is saved somewhere. Let's say I want to add a texture. So I'm adding the lunar surface here, and I want to add a texture. So I can just browse it, right, with hitting the shortcut. And that's interesting. What's going to happen is, because usually you don't add a texture when you're you're usually in the like editing a texture, right? So yeah. If I'm here, what a nice shade that I have here. All the unused stuff, just because I don't want to forget what I changed there. So I'm gonna hide us for a bit, and let's see what is the Control Alt Shift A.
Hey, there you go.
And this is, if you don't notice, it's an overlay. That's why the rest is dark. So it's an overlay showing all the folders. And let's see, Severance Texture HDRI library, maybe not.
Nah, let's go for textures.
Let's go for textures. So
Yeah.
what we see here, it's a mix of the original Blender Cloud textures, which is textures and HDRI, and a mix of the projects that I'm part of that have a texture library, which is something we're going to show in a bit. So texture, this will show every texture on the Blender Cloud library. So let's go with your favorite.
I always go for bricks.
Bricks.
Yeah.
You're Dutch, of course.
I'm Dutch. Yeah.
So what? Okay, that's a big collection of bricks.
Exactly, and you can also see that we have different types of textures. So some textures have a bump map, some have, like all of them have a color map, of course. Some have displacement, some won't. Some have a specular, some won't. So
nice.
Yeah, this one of the last features I actually added here was to add that little text that says which maps they have.
Yeah, I didn't know you had that. It's amazing. That way, for example, here I have a bump and normal of a big square.
Yeah.
So now I clicked on it and it's downloading the textures, and they are saved on the, well, they have it saved on the hard drive on next to the file where it's saved.
If you go to the preferences,
yes,
there you will see that if you go there, yeah, you will see where they're downloaded. So default go to / textures, so that relative to your blend file / textures. And you can even set it per scene if you want to. Ooh. So this default is an overall default like any other Blender setting.
Yeah.
But the per scene setting is saved in this particular scene. So if you want to have different settings for different blend files, you can do it there, and it will remember it correctly.
Awesome. So flexible. So let's add a texture. So for example, gonna have a image texture. And if I show it, yes, I have the cornfield, which I use for something else. It's also from the cloud. And then there is brick square, brick color, and brick normal. So let's see the color. Let's run it here. Let's connect it to the base color, and this is when I notice that, oh wait, what am I using here? The surface. Am I even using this shader? Not. Okay, maybe it wasn't the best example on Earth. Okay, now it's gray. Now I will add a texture, image texture, and there you go. If I had a UV map, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And
if I was on a UV mapping 18,000 vertices, that would be also even more amazing. So this brilliant idea of wrapping this file will give me a UV map, so that way we can map the texture that we just downloaded in there. Also, all these textures, they're saved with zero, they're loaded with zero users, right?
Correct.
So it means that if I
You get the files themselves, so with one click on the texture, you get all the maps of that texture.
yeah.
So that's why we now have multiple files in there, but indeed with zero users. So if you don't use them, save your blend file, reload it, it will be gone from the blend file, but they will still be on disk.
Yeah, just like any other data block in Blender. If you don't use it and save, it will go away.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I try to keep talking just so, just so my computer can unwrap the big file, but I will just run it again. And because I was trying to unwrap 18,000 vertices, which is maybe not the best idea, but also this is maybe a good chance to use the HDRI because that one has a great feature which you can talk about while I resurrect my computer.
So these HDRIs, they can get really big. Some of the ones that I created are like 160, 500 megabytes each. So if you want to try it out and you want to use them for, say, a blurry background or something, or simple lighting of a scene, you don't need all that detail. You don't need it to be 16K texture. So that's why when you click it, you get the very simple one first, the smallest resolution. And if you select it in the node editor, for example, you will get an extra button that you get a drop down. You want 1K, 2K, 4K, 16K, and you can swap them out.
Nice. Let's try this one too. The concept is the same as the
texture browser.
The texture browser add-on.
Yeah.
So let's hit all the buttons at once. Let's load, for example, HDRI. Dutch landscape pack, right? Or Myanmar.
Yeah.
Which one you like more? Myanmar?
Well, yeah.
Myanmar. Okay, yes, these ones are actually taking my hem. So, your favorite?
For lighting stuff, I often use Buddha's Footprint Hall because it's on the bottom left.
Yes.
Because it has a very nice warm golden glow, but at the same time it has that door opening.
Yeah.
That brings in the bright white light, so you get a nice directional light. There you go.
There you go. So this is the texture that I just downloaded by using the add-on, and it downloaded in 1K, right?
Yes.
But in the end panel,
you can see the little cloud icon.
The little cloud icon. That's so cute.
And there you have a drop down of all the variations. So let's go for the 4K version.
Let's go for the 4K.
Yeah.
Bam.
And then you get a button replace.
Yes. So that way you tell it to use internet. Huh.
Yeah.
And also because if you were clicking the 16K by mistake and you're on dial-up, which I doubted, but yes, maybe.
Well, even on a faster connection, it will take a while.
Yeah. So now
it swapped it out.
It swapped it out.
Yeah, and if you zoom in, you will see that you get a better resolution. There you go.
That's amazing. Let's see. Am I sure? Let's get the 2K. Image download complete. Oh wait. I know why. Because this blend file, I picked the best blend file ever. I pick a blend file that has the pack it's packed. So it has the auto pack option on. So if I disable that, then I will. Okay, now it wants.
But I would start with a simple one instead of like that.
Yeah, like this is the simple one. It just wasn't as simple because it had the packed option on. So now if I download it, this is 1K. Let's go to the end panel and let's pick 4K. Wow, that's fast. Because it's already in the hard drive.
Yes, exactly.
Actually all of this we made it up so you can see the awesome feature of if it's already don't download if it's already there.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I took quite a bit of effort to really properly use all the HTTP caching stuff there is out there, to only download it when there's a new version. So when we do publish a new version of this particular image, then it would download that new version.
There you go. So the 2K is probably there because I also downloaded. And yes,
Yeah,
it's
there you
there. And 1K, of course, it's already there.
Yeah.
4K. Can even get 8, 16, and
I
they're
wouldn't
even.
now.
No, I wouldn't do it now, but I already pushed it a bit too much using files that are packed and all of that stuff. So in the we can just try it how it looks. So I go to space. That's how it's called. Maybe I can disable the transparency on the viewport, and I'm going to here strength. Let's keep it to 1, and I can just drop the image, which actually I should see as. Let's there you go. That's white. Anyway, let's drop the image. So you just drag and drop from the, maybe if I hide ourselves, just drag and drop from here. The guys couldn't see the bottom. There, it will show in the back. I should have really started with an empty file. That is because because it's an image, it's not an environment texture. Silly Blender, you should remember. There you go.
And now if you set the interpolation mode from linear to something better.
So here.
There. Like cubic, then you get a bit nicer background.
Oh.
And also on the lower resolutions it should be a little bit softer.
Nice. So if I change it from here, it's gonna update.
Yes.
Let's try. Boom. Wow, I did it already. Let's make it more obvious. 1K. There you go.
And by selecting that interpolation mode to be a little bit better, it doesn't go all that pixely. So you can actually use this as a cheap way to get a blurry background. Just get a low resolution HDRI and you will have your nice blurry background. Yeah, it doesn't work when you have perspective off.
Yeah, no, but that's a problem of the Blender itself, like the cycles. It doesn't show. It's not a problem, it's a feature. Awesome. Fantastic. So, because my render is,
it's equirectangular.
Yeah, exactly, because I really chose the best length how to show this. Let's go to the camera. In another scene, maybe. I didn't have a camera. I was using a camera from another scene. Wow, I really picked the things that people never do.
There you go.
And I did it. All right. Look at this awesome render. And all of this trouble is because I wanted to save my render. Let's maybe make it 96 pixels, maybe bigger. Wow, 200 pixels. There you go, 300 pixels. I wanted to render this, maybe with less samples. And if you have any questions, please let us know. We're still here, there. And this awesome render, I want to share with people. Can I share with people from?
Yes, of course.
Of course. You think? You sure?
Yeah,
Yes?
I'm sure. Let's go to the image menu. Right
Image.
there at the bottom. Yes.
In my render. So when you're looking at your render image menu.
Look at that. You have a cloud icon as well.
There are two icons. There is the get image from the cloud.
With the Control Shift Shift Alt Control A.
So that is the one that's browser for getting textures.
Yep.
Or share on Blender Cloud.
Exactly.
So let's press this magic button, and what happens? It's doing some magic stuff. There is uploading data block render result, and it's putting it somewhere online.
Yep.
Let's hope. And
we've been having some internet issues all day, so it's best moment for a live stream with live demos.
With live demos and connecting to online and doing everything. And it's fantastic. Let's see. switch HDRI has been removed.
Oh, really? That's stupid.
That's a very nice thing. Okay, so that's a different issue.
Something to fix.
Yes. What about sharing the screenshots?
There you go.
So something with the render itself wasn't working.
Oh wait, no, it was actually working on the background.
Oh, it was just a bit slow because of we're streaming live.
Yeah.
We're pushing it a little bit, but this is what happened. It automatically opened a browser with, if you want to, there it is. We can change that in the settings, but it opened a browser with the render.
Yeah.
And you can look it around. You can share.
What it also did is it put the share link on your clipboard already.
What?
So even if you don't open a browser window,
yeah,
you get a message that it's done, and you can just immediately paste it into a chat.
That's awesome. So I can actually, if Firefox will let me, I hate Firefox. There you go. No. Anyway, I wanted to share with the people there. There, here we go. It's somewhere there. Okay.
Strange.
Yeah.
I think it's YouTube.
It's a
chat
YouTube
thingy.
player. Yeah. Doesn't happen on Chrome though. So let's see. I have these two. We went through the features. So texture library, HDRI library, texture library, HDRI library. Sharing your image renders.
Yeah.
What else?
Blender sync.
We went through the Blender sync, and we actually had a little glimpse of what it was, my own texture library. So actually, if I could show you the world, or more precisely, my home project. So I have a home project. I have a few projects here that it's my own project. One of them is a character animation DVD, which I should change it because actually that is from William Rainish, but I uploaded it. But one of the projects that I made a long time ago, actually in 2016, but actually it is from 2006. It's called Fracas Stream. It's my one of the images that I made a long time ago. But for this, I wanted to put all the files on the cloud, so I have a backup. And one of the files that I had is a texture. So I had two textures. This is me texturing 10 years ago. So please be kind. And it's also a cartoon. You know, you can say it's a cartoon and then you get away with making it crappy. So these are the textures that I made. So I want to add a new texture, for example. Let's add a new texture.
So one thing you saw there was a new texture folder.
Oh yeah.
And that is something you have to start with. So the new texture folder is the place where you would put all your textures. And that automatically gives you a nice folder with the texture icons, and you can browse. Yeah. And so that's your starting point, basically.
Yeah, actually, let's even go further now. Could make a new project and upload stuff. You think? You feel?
Let's do that.
I mean, we already messed it up so many times in this live stream, so let's do it once more. Let's create a new project. This is a private project. It's another feature of the Blender Cloud. You can have your own projects. So what is a project?
Well, it's a place to collaborate. You can place your files. You can put your textures there.
Anything. So let's say I want to do Caminandes 4. I started it all by myself. And then I can give it a summary. So this will be amazing and believing in myself. I also have a description and even more. So then you can have, I have a few options more because I'm an admin, but you won't see many of those. Save the changes, and now my project should be.
Did you check the private checkbox?
I check the private text. Okay, note. Now it's there. So let's hope we didn't push. Okay, so now this project is private. By default, all your projects gonna be private.
Yeah, this is also a question we get quite a lot, by the way. People want to have a place where they can publish their work, like ArtStation, for example.
Yeah.
And they ask us, is that possible on the cloud? Well, no. And for a very good reason, because if people start publishing stuff on the cloud for everybody to see, that means that we share their responsibility of what they're showing. So if that has like copyrighted movies or other
Yeah,
stolen material or other bad stuff, we're responsible for it because it's happening on our servers. And as though we would love to be able to offer you guys that platform, but we just don't have the people to also look into that.
Right now, at least. Maybe in the future we won't, but for example, say someone make that and then I start uploading Pixar movies there. That's illegal, right? You can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's, or holiday pictures or whatever. You can't, you need people to take care of that. So I have my Caminando's project. I will create a new texture folder. Like you can create assets, folder, textures, anything. So first I need a folder for my textures. So it's gonna be Coro textures, right? I save it, and now I have my textures folder, which I can create a new texture. And here, this is gonna be, for example, the Coro, right? And then I can add a new file, or you can add maps, right? By default, you have alpha, mini-occlusion, bump, color, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So say I want to add the color, I will browse for it, and I think I don't happen to have, yes, I have. Blender, it's in, I had it. So let's, where did I had it? Alright, let's go with the add-ons, Blender, the bar. The demos, where are the demos? Here. No? Okay. Now I had it here, somewhere. Demos, there you go. 2.8 or 279. Blender demos. Let's go and let's get a texture. Actually, I don't have the textures here, but I have the texture from another, from the one that are the splash screen, the demo that you can get in blender.org. So I'm gonna upload this, and I'm uploading now the color texture. Yes. Is it tileable?
No.
No. Is a landscape? No, it's actually square. Then you can set the resolution in this case, in case you have more than one resolution, right?
Yeah, or you can leave it empty.
You can leave it empty. So I'd save the changes, and now I have my texture for Coro. This is a very weird color for the for a character, but then say you have something else. So I can have a normal. I browse for it, and then I can get the something else. Let's go with this one. What a weird normal map. Is a metallic, so let's mark it as roughness. Save the changes, and now all of these textures, we're doing it all here with the browser. But actually, the whole point of this was to be able to
Control Shift Alt A.
Control all the keys, and then go a few levels up, and then bam, Caminandes 4 is here with a folder called Coro textures, and with the textures that says Coro and roughness. So in this case, I click on it, and the texture is there, is loaded, so I can access it from the image editor. You can see one texture color, texture roughness, right? And you can add them here to your setup pretty easily. And say you're working with a team, you can share this with a team, right?
Yes.
That's also another of the goals of the Blender Cloud, is that you can collaborate in your project with other people. So if you edit the project, you can go on sharing, and then you can add other people, like I can add Sibren. And then now Sibren is part of my project. So now when he goes to Blender and then Control Shift Alt A, it's going to see the textures that I just uploaded. So that way you can share texture libraries between people, the team.
Yeah. So shall we look at some questions?
Yes. We need to wrap up in 10 minutes. So let's see. Blender has an internal browser, Blender Cloud. Blender, no, that browser is, you made it, right?
Yeah, this thing I made, but it's temporary. And of course it's been temporary for 2 years already. So the idea is that with Blender 2.8 we get Bastiaan's asset browser, and then it will be integrated with that. So then you will get all the power of Blender's browsing with filtering and thumbnail selection and everything.
Yeah.
But for now, this is what you get.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll use the amazing asset manager.
Yes.
So excited about. Next question. Can I open my personal project now and open it later for other people? Yes. Like we did it just now. I first was working on my personal project, and then at some point I share it with here, like we were doing. I was using it by myself, and then I can at some point, for example, I can Francesco CD, or maybe either FCD. So now he's part of my project, and then I say, okay, Siren, you can't be here anymore.
Aww.
So I removed you, but then he's okay, you can be back. So that way they get it. But yeah, you can add and remove people as you like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Instead of connecting to the cloud, why not work directly on Blender Cloud so that users can work on a low-end laptop sitting anywhere in the world with the... Oh, like, yeah. That is the... What is the
Nimble Collective.
Nimble Collective, they're doing that, yes. Yeah, well, that is a bit... It's a bit out of our...
It's a very different situation, because then you would have Blender running on a machine that should be very powerful and should support like multiple users running Blender at the same time without interfering with each other, and then streaming all the image data back and forth. It's really tricky to get that to work. So
yeah,
it's kind of out of scope.
Yeah. Is it possible for more tutorials on scripting? Yes, this guy made a training on Blender Cloud. It's a workshop.
Oh, it's a course.
It's a course, a full course.
Of course.
Of course. So if you go to the Blender Cloud, you go here, courses, you will see this nice pink and...
Thanks to Andy.
Yes. Andy made the artwork for this training, which is the first of its kind. It's completely focused on scripting for artists.
Yes.
Which you can talk about a little bit. What is it?
It is basically a scripting tutorial for people who don't necessarily want to become a programmer. So when you're an artist and you have to do a lot of manual tasks and you think, well, it's repetitive, it's boring, it's killing my mojo. You go here, you follow these tutorials, and in a few hours you will be able to script your way out of the mess. So yeah, if you want to learn a little bit of Python programming and just make your life easier, this is the place to be.
And it's also good for beginners, right? If you don't know anything, you can start with this. And also all these workshops in the cloud, the idea is to keep improving them. So it's not a one time and that's it. The idea is to keep improving on this. So in the future, if there are more topics, this is a nice place to go and to keep an eye on when there's new training.
Another new thing that we have is Blender Chat, which was launched by Francesco and Pablo.
Blender.chat.
Yes. And one channel that I started there recently is the Python channel. So if you have any questions about Python scripting in Blender, you can find me here, and you can find other people to chat with. So
yes, Blender.chat/Python. There you go.
There we go.
Blender.chat/channel/Python. Then next question: is there a limit how many people you can add to a project?
At the moment, no.
So I can add the whole Blender Cloud actually.
Yeah, you could. I've never
nice.
tried it, but.
But when you're sharing, the person has to have a cloud subscription.
Not necessarily.
No, they can access it.
Yeah, but know that this is aimed at teams. So when you share your project with somebody else, they really become project members. It's not your project that you give them some read-only access to. They have full access to the project, and I don't know, they might even be able to kick you out. So you have to...
Really? Well, that's interesting. Okay, so projects, let's see, is there...
this is my project, which I shared with you, so kick me out.
I will, that's what I was checking. So these are the projects that these are my own projects, and this is the ones that have been shared with me. And in this case, I can go to Serious Texture HDRI library. I can edit the well, I mean, I'm also an administrator, so maybe it's not the best
Nah, to give it a try.
Okay, let's give it a try. Oh no,
no,
I can't.
Ah, that's good.
It's a happy smile.
But anyway, the members of the project can change other things. They can click on edit project. They can change the description and the name and all kinds of stuff. So you have to be a little bit careful with whom you're sharing.
Yes, and also something we didn't even talk about, but actually we are wrapping up in 5 minutes. It's the other, like the stars of the Blender Cloud, which are Flamenco and Attract. They're also linked to your project. So any project that you have can have a flamenco, right? Attached to it.
Absolutely.
A pink flamenco. No, it's not pink, but yes. So you have here yours attached to it or not? Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So we can go to one that is attached to it.
Yeah.
So actually when you press setup for a track, what is going to happen eventually?
Eventually, it will just do a little bit of behind-the-scenes administration and will enable it for Attract. So if you go to cloud.blender.org/attract, you will see your project there as well. Right now, you will see your own projects that are set up for Attract and the public ones, like Agent327, coming on this, etc.
Yeah.
And of course, you, being an admin, see quite a bit more.
It's administrator, so. But for example, in this case, we have Caminandes, which actually this is not the real one we use because it was made as a demo for making a tutorial. There is a tutorial in this channel, Blender Cloud, where Francesco goes through the process of setting up Attract from scratch. So you should check that out. It's in this channel. And if actually there is something that we just announced today, which is related to Hero, the open movie project made with Grease Pencil. He has not a release date, but a trailer release date.
Yes.
Is next Monday on the 19th of March. So if you can't wait for that, you can keep an eye on the Attract list, which is basically all the whole short film, and then you can go through the let's hide this. You can go through the whole short and see the process as they're making it, which is amazing. So that way you can see the tasks they have different tasks they have layout, rough, cleanup, color, background. But for example, if you are in Agent 327, it has different Agent 327 different tasks.
Yeah, and that is also part of the setting up for Attract. Once you've clicked that button, you get a default list of task types, and you can edit those yourself. So you can make those columns anything you want and what suits your project structure.
Yeah, you can set the task and the shots with the status, if it's final, it's ongoing, so the way you can keep track. And the moment you have everything green is when you're happy and you can go home and celebrate. So yes, there is that. There is flamenco. Like we still even like. Maybe I can show the flamenco version of this for the agent, and then we can wrap it up.
So flamenco is a tool that allows you to render on multiple machines at the same time, and it's tailored for animation. So you can say, okay, I want each machine to work on 1 frame or to work on a chunk of 10 frames, and basically create your own render farm. And part of it runs in the cloud, as you can see, and another part will run on your local network and your machines. And it's made in such a way that your files never actually leave your network. So for things that aren't as open as the Blender Animation Studio, this is a good thing because you know your files will remain on your network and only be touched by your computers. Yes,
all you see is the management basically, but the files are yours, the renders are yours, everything runs on your local computers. So all that you see is just an easy way to manage this. And in the future, this connection between flamenco will be tighter, I think, right, with other parts of the cloud, especially if you have a project. That's our dream. What's your dream in 1 minute? What would you like to see in the next year or two regarding production part?
Well, on a slightly shorter notice, we will be going for rendering in the cloud. So then all I said just now goes out of the window because you will be uploading your files to a cloud service somewhere and then using their machines to render. And then we may be able to spin up like 1,000 machines, like 1,000 Google Compute nodes. to render 1,000 frames, and then you have very short-lived machines that all start churning at your work.
Nice.
And then a few seconds later, ideally, you have your movie back. So
wow, and that is coming relatively soon. It's different. It's not with the 10 euro per month, of course.
no,
We'll probably have a different because you're using render time. So, but it should be it is like giving the whole package.
yeah, and we're taking small steps right now. So we're working with Carnot and using their service. So then you, with the Blender Cloud add-on and Blender Cloud, you can manage your Carnot renders and send your files there. So that's what I'm actually working on right now.
Right now. So any estimate? Next week, 2 weeks, 1 month?
Since it depends also on them, I don't know, but
Yes.
it's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
Awesome. So only good stuff coming up for the Blender Cloud.
I have to run.
Yes.
I have band practice to attend.
Wow, band, even in a band. It's a
Yeah.
doctor in a band, Blender Cloud, developers, Python, teacher, because you did the training, everything. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming and hanging out.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was really fun. And it was also fun to hang out with you guys. I think we can wrap it up. It's,
Loads of questions.
Lots of questions.
If you have more questions for me personally, come look me up on blender.chat, because I'm frequently hanging out there.
Yes. The other questions there, can I render queue with Blender Cloud? Yeah, that's a different render queue. It's I think it's another system, another add-on. Planning to make an animation show moving collaboration with others. Would you recommend using the Blender Cloud? Any suggestion for the pipeline and that data infrastructure? There are a few tutorials on the cloud, but would you use the Blender Cloud? Yes, I will totally use the Blender Cloud right now,
absolutely.
especially because of Attract to keep track of your shots. And you can also, if you look up the video, you can see how you can connect the video sequencer, like the sequencer with your movie.
Yeah.
Each shot, you can make it show up in Attract as a shot there. It's actually, that's how you control Attract, right?
Yes. And then in the web interface, you can see things like when does a shot start, when does it end, how many frames did we cut off of it. That's really vital information for your animators so that they don't animate too many frames.
Yeah.
If you reorder some shots and then sync it to the cloud, they will be reordered in the web interface as well. You can see the status of the shots in Blender itself with a nice little underline. So yeah, it's really nice to work.
Yes, everything that you see, every thumbnail actually is coming from the sequencer, video sequencer. I think that's the future of productions with Blender and the Blender Cloud. So that's it. I will see you next week. We will see you again next week, hopefully same time maybe. Keep an eye on social media, and on Monday watch the trailer of Hero Open Movie Project.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. And